Yeah, Will, here, it's April 19th. Yeah, it's just a splendid day here today. It blew pretty hard, snowed a little bit last night. In the morning it was clear, south wind again, and drifted a little bit on the lake. In the morning it was almost like sandpaper. What happens is the snowflakes get battered around to little pieces like that, and they have a lot of friction to them, almost like sandpaper. But it started getting warmer around 11 o'clock, and the little thaw that started rounding off, so it wasn't much of a problem later. But it was just a beautiful day of travel. South wind, clear. I found a wolf den around noon or so. I pulled over on the side of a small little island. I picked up some tracks. I was following them, and found a regular den right on the shoreline. Where they had dug down and into probably some rocks there where the water level had dropped. And it was extremely recent, probably within a couple of hours. Wolf was around. There's a lot of evidence of it digging and so forth, and it was definitely a den. And then later on the north side of Firedrake, saw caribou tracks. First sign of caribou, a couple of weeks old, a couple of days old. Only several tracks. I didn't have any actual sighting, but I'm expecting to start to see the caribou. I ran into a couple hunters a couple of days ago, and they said they're migrating in this direction. So, and it was a nice sighting there. Wolf tracks, and then I made a couple of portages. I'm in a system of smaller lakes. Portaging up to north of me is Jarvis Lake. If you check out my position on the Google Maps, you can see the small lakes, and you can actually figure it out if you look on the map, try to figure out the route that I'm taking, follow the rivers, basically little rivers and streams from lake to lake. I'm trying to get back to the bigger area of Jarvis Lake. Natives don't travel in this area. This is really a pretty wild place here. They stay away from anywhere where there's flowing water, and they advised me not to travel there and take another route, but I took this route instead because I thought it would be a little better. There was a lot of overflow on these creeks when the portaging. That made my labor much less. Overflow is when creeks or streams freeze up from the bottom, and therefore all the water then flows on the top. It's called overflow. And the first portage I came out of Drake Lake, I could spot the overflow where the stream was about a mile away. It was kind of a darker, and then, in fact, that's how I found the stream. It was by that dark line. I figured it was overflow. And what happened is it's almost like lava. It flows out in terraces. And I had a portage about a little less than a half a mile. It was, one period it went up about 30 feet, and about 30 feet over about 100 yards. But I was able to get up that real easily with the overflow. And the second portage was the same thing. The second portage was actually active. There was a lot of water flowing, almost like our artesian spring. The water was bubbling up, coming up from this massive flowage. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, almost like Mammoth Hot Springs in Yellowstone. Obviously, it's becoming very obvious now. The trees are thinning out. Much smaller trees. There's no longer the main forest. There's still treed, but it's more miniature tree. Definitely getting into the Barren Lands here, and it's actually a very beautiful spot I'm at here tonight. It's a lake, very isolated lake. With some of the islands have small trees on, some are barren. Perfect place here. But it looks like a big thaw coming my way, which is great. Travel was great today. It's actually the travel conditions I expected a month ago, but with the late spring, we're finally getting the thaws and the better travel. So I'll check in tomorrow then. Resupply is coming up on Saturday, and I'll talk about that tomorrow on the dispatch. Over and out.